What's up? I'm having a 2017 Chianti. Um, Borgo Scopetto, I think is the name of the vineyard in Tuscany. And today I want to talk about a little bit about wine, a little bit about philosophy, and maybe about women too. So I'm getting like some light red fruit on the nose, cranberries. There's a little tang to it. Kind of the same on the tongue, although it has that like kind of dryness to it. It's a little bit tanniny, but it's light. Um, nice mouthfeel. I like a dry red. I know that's not for everybody, but I've spent some time in Italy, so it's kind of where my palate's at. Um, but anyway, so I've been drinking some wine lately, not to get drunk, but just to really enjoy it. So my former master's degree professor, Roger Scruton, wrote a book called I Drink Therefore I Am. And in it he talks a little bit about the history of wine in philosophical circles, how it was drunk in the Forum in Greece, and has always been drunk in social settings, really, uh, as a social lubricant, and also as something aesthetic, something that has aesthetic value to it. Remember, something that has aesthetic value is something that we might regard as an art form. And what constitutes an art form is that it has really no purpose other than its own existence, and that it should be beautiful in some sense of the word, whether that's visually beautiful in a painting or auditorily, musically beautiful, such as in music, or the culinary arts, spirits, wine, and so on and so forth. So the better a work of art represents itself aesthetically in terms of putting on display whatever beauty, whatever quality of beauty that it possesses in that art form, the better it is. And that's how we make a judgment. It's kind of intuitive, you know? Um, so it serves a social purpose, alcohol of certain sorts, good wine, for sure. Uh, but it also has no purpose other than itself, really. It can stand alone in that way. And philosophically, I saw the value of wine, oddly enough, during my master's program with Roger. And if you don't know who Roger Scruton is, look him up. Was, as of last year when he passed away about a year ago, uh, one of the greatest philosophers of our generation, and talked a lot about the arts. Aesthetics was one of his main areas, and wine was in that category, And so there was wine in our seminars. And let me let you in on a little secret, especially if you're a Roger Scruton fan. Roger got a little drunk. I mean, he had all the grace and propriety and intelligence that you would expect from him, but that dude partied in his own way, I'm telling you. And sometimes he would come out to the pub after seminar with us, too. So he's always spoken very highly of this stuff and spoken of its social purpose, but also, and not just its aesthetic purpose either, but its philosophical purpose. Because once you have that social lubrication, ideas can start to flow, and it was certainly the case in our seminars that sometimes people didn't really warm up to opening up the discussion until we had been drinking wine for an hour or so. Um, and it was, up to us to limit ourselves to the extent that we had to individually. Um, but Roger could put it down, that's for sure. So anyway, I guess you could say, those are the two qualities of wine, is that it's aesthetic and it's also a social lubricant, but as a category below that or within that, um, the aspect of, opening up socially, and then with the right with the right temperance, um, ideas can flow, and philosophically it can have some value in that way, for critical thinking as part of a group. So anyway, I want to bring some attention to, dating. I mean, when we're either pursuing someone casually or romantically. I say casually. That was a little slip of the tongue, because I only really do casual dating. I don't I don't really date, to court, with any long-term intentions. But regardless of the situation, if you're with someone who you're attracted to, and you know the subject of wine comes up, it's very rare that it comes up in an aesthetic way. Like, so if I have a lady over, uh, I always have a little bit of wine at my house, whether it's like one, bottle that I opened a night or two before, um, or whatever the case may be. Uh, so, it's a bit of a red flag when she asks, like, if we can have a bottle of wine, like, because I see wine as more of an aesthetic thing, and so I'm thinking a bottle. Like, I don't drink wine to get drunk necessarily, maybe a buzz in certain social situations, but um, nothing, it's not as to be obnoxious. And so it's like a bit of a red flag when someone doesn't place aesthetic value on something like wine. Um, Although I guess there's a time and place for like cheap alcohol as well. Uh, but no, it's like if I have something open already, I may offer, like, you can have a glass. Like, that's it. Um, it's not about the effect alone. If you're taking your time, because it's a contemplative activity, drinking wine in an aesthetic way, and it takes time. So if you're taking the time to enjoy it, then it follows that you can stay in tune with how it's affecting you, and you tend to drink more slowly, and therefore you can limit yourself, because it's not, and then things will work later, if that's where it's leading. Um, but so taking your time is a positive consequence of appreciating the wine itself as an art, and allowing it to take the effects, as far as the social lubrication goes, as well as the philosophical lubrication, if you like to go beyond small or medium talk, um, which, at least for me, is required in good company. So anyway, those are just a few of my thoughts on wine, the philosophy of wine, and I guess dating and wine. I hope you enjoyed this kind of different video. See you in the next one. Cheerio.